Welcome to Travel with Sean. I'm Sean, and today we are in the Hanseatic city of Lübeck, Germany. Lübeck was founded by Count Adolf II of Holstein in 1143, but it burned down in 1157. And it was rebuilt by Henry the Lion, Duke of Saxony, in 1159. So this lion is in honor of Henry the Lion. Lübeck was the de facto capital of the Hanseatic League, a powerful economic and political alliance in the 12th to 19th centuries which originated here. Lübeck became an imperial free city in 1226 and then established its own laws, known as Lübeck Law, which were later adopted by many Hanseatic cities. On May 3, 1945, one of the biggest disasters in naval history occurred in the Bay of Lübeck when Allied bombers sank 3 Nazi ships, which, unknown to them, were packed with concentration camp inmates, killing about 7,000 people. Lübeck's Old Town has been a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1987. I'm standing at the Lübeck Cathedral. Construction began in 1173, so about 30 years after the city was established. Construction took about 160 years to complete. It wasn't until the mid-13th century that it was dedicated. After serving the community for centuries, it sustained some bad damage during air raids the night before Palm Sunday in the 1940s during World War II. Reconstruction, renovation was not completed until 1982. The cathedral is very large, and there are many large trees in the yard, so it's hard to get a good view. This was the first large brick church built in the Baltic region. As a result of an Allied air raid on the night before Palm Sunday in 1942, the cathedral's towers caught fire and collapsed, destroying its 17th century organ, 17th century altar, and the surrounding area within the cathedral. The restoration work was completed in 1982. While cathedrals are typically the tallest church in any city, the Lübeck Cathedral is the second tallest. The cathedral has many very elaborate burial chapels. The cathedral's pulpit was built in 1696 and is decorated with scenes from the life of Jesus. The sounding board was created in 1570, before the rest of the pulpit. These heads at the base highlight the importance of those who have shared and supported the gospel over time. The pulpit stands over the figure of Moses holding the tablets of the law. The crucifix is known as the Triumphal Cross and was installed in 1477. It survived mostly undamaged from the fire of 1942. The crucifixion altarpiece was created in the 1420s and shows 11 scenes from the Passion of Christ. The top left is the arrest of Jesus. Below that is Pilate sitting in judgment over Jesus. The central panel shows several scenes directly surrounding Jesus' crucifixion. The top right panel shows Jesus being taken down from the cross, and the bottom right shows his body being prepared for entombment. This memorial plaque shows the person's family tree. Someone in the family must have been a genealogist like me. They even have the family crest on top. The Stellwagen organ, installed in 1637, was destroyed in the fire of 1942 and was subsequently replaced with this Italian Baroque organ from 1740. This is a remnant of the original astronomical clock that was created in 1405. It was badly damaged in World War II and has not been able to function as an astronomical clock since then. This altarpiece, made in 1518, features the coronation of the Virgin Mary as its central motive, surrounded by scenes from her life. The baptismal font was made of bronze in 1455. It's supported by 3 kneeling figures, and its sides are historical figures or people from the Bible. It used to be located in the front of the cathedral, but this chapel was created for it after the 1942 fire. This altarpiece, built in 1422, is known as the Sailors' Guild altar. Lübeck is nicknamed the City of the Seven Towers because of the 7 towers of its 5 Protestant churches. Petrikirche, meaning St. Peter's Church, was built in the 12th century, with construction beginning in 1173. It was expanded in 1290 to make it the Imperial Church. Its current appearance was from a 15th century expansion, which made it a 5-aisled church, one of maybe only about 10 in the whole world. A fire resulting from an air raid the night before Palm Sunday, 1942, caused the roof to be destroyed and the church gutted. Restoration was completed in 1987. Lübeck Rathaus, or the Lübeck City Hall, is connected to a couple other buildings, creating the Rathausplatz, or the City Hall Square. Rathausplatz has a market that meets here regularly. The Rathaus has been rebuilt at least a couple times. It was first mentioned in the Lübeck Law of 1226. Later, the building was given to the city's tanners in 1250 and eventually demolished in 1872. The current City Hall was built in 1350, although sections of the building were replaced periodically starting in the 15th century, making it a blend of Gothic and Renaissance architecture. The front of the Rathaus is opposite from the Rathausplatz and faces St. Mary's Church. Marienkirche, or St. Mary's Church, was a model for other brick Gothic churches in the Hanseatic League's sphere of influence. It was built between 1265 and 1351 on the highest point of the city's Old Town Island. Before this, no church with a vaulted ceiling had been built so high out of brick. It still has the highest brick vault in the world, about 126.5 feet in the central nave. Sadly, a lot of the church was destroyed because of a fire resulting from an air raid the night before Palm Sunday in 1942. The fire and smoke severely damaged the 1767 pipe organ, but they were able to have it restored by 1961. The bronze baptismal font was made in 1400 with carved images of historical figures all around it. Surviving the 1942 fire, the Antwerp altarpiece was created in Antwerp, Belgium in 1518 and is an example of a style of double-winged altarpieces. Also surviving from the fire is an important part of the church's artistic legacy. These sandstone relief works from 1515 depict scenes from the Passion of Christ, including the Last Supper. And Jesus washing the feet of his disciples. When the first stones of St. Mary were laid, the devil believed that this building would be a wine bar. He liked the idea because many souls had already found their way to him after frequently visiting such a place. So he mixed with the crowd and started to help the workers. No wonder that the building grew higher and higher amazingly fast. But one day the devil realized what the building would be. Full of anger, he grabbed a huge boulder to smash the walls that were already standing. He was flying through the air when a bold fellow shouted at him, "Just stop it, Mr. Devil. Leave what has already been erected. For you we will build a wine bar here in the neighborhood." The devil was pleased. He dropped the boulder where it is lying this day, and just opposite of the church they built a wine cellar in the town hall. Lübeck is famous for marzipan. So while here, I've gotta try some marzipan. So I went into a little bakery and got some. Delicious. The city of Lübeck is famous nowadays for its marzipan. And the store we're in is called Lübecker Marzipan. And if we look around, they have marzipan everything. Right over here is marzipan bread, marzipan toffee. And look to the left, we have marzipan cappuccino, marzipan tea, and more marzipan products. This is marzipan and cherry jam, marzipan and apple jam. The building we see down the street is of an architectural style typical of Hanseatic cities. These row houses are the remains of warehouses built between 1579 and 1745 to store salt brought from a nearby town before it was shipped around the Baltic Sea. Back in the 1600s, salt was in high demand for the preservation of food. Salt trade was a major reason for the power of Lübeck and the Hanseatic League. Holstentor, or Holstein Gate, was the western city gate. Completed in 1478, its name comes from the fact that this was the exit leading to the city of Holstein. The inscription in the front says 1477, 1871. 1477 was the year they believed the gate was built. They were off by 1 year. And 1871 is the year it was spared destruction by 1 vote and then restored. This was the main street coming into Lübeck from the west in the 15th century. It used to be referred to as the Outer Holstein Gate, as there were 2 other gates at this location, the middle and inner gates, which were demolished in the 19th century. We're now on the field side of the gate. Let's take one final look at the Holstentor and those former salt warehouses. Thank you for watching. Thank you for traveling along with me. As always, I appreciate your support. Until next time, tschüss, auf Wiedersehen, bye bye.